It's been almost a month since the release of Attack on Titan manga chapter 139, which is the final chapter, the finale of this series. And now I think that sufficient time has actually passed for us to take a look back at the things and analyze them with a cool head. I totally acknowledge the fact that people from both ends of the spectrum, people who like the story as well as people who dislike the story, are right in their very own merit. Many people definitely have some very good points about the ending of this story, but one thing which I cannot agree with anyone for that matter is the fact that people are actually abusing, threatening and harassing Isayama because of the ending of Attack on Titan. That is simply wrong on so many different levels, and that is something which just cannot be justified whatsoever. I am myself not a very huge fan of this ending. I have my problems with the story and I've already talked about all of these things in my prior videos and everything. You can go and watch them here. Of course, a separate video coming up very soon is going to discuss about the things 1 month later and with my cool-headed views. But in spite of all of that, I just cannot agree with the notion that harassing the author is somehow justified if the ending is not actually according to your liking. That is simply a stupid notion. But despite all of that, we have something very interesting to talk about in this particular video. So hello and welcome to Wonder WhyZ. My name is Soham and today we are going to talk about the leaked snippets from Isayama's upcoming interview. Now please note that this is not the entire interview. This is simply a snippet, and that too this was on Japanese and this is fan translated by second. So there's no 100% guarantee that exactly things are going to turn out in this particular manner. This is just a part of the longer interview from Isayama, and the entire thing is going to come up when the volume eventually releases. But still, we have the leaked interview at hand and there are some very interesting things to go over with, so let's talk about all of them in this particular video. But before that, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel since I do weekly anime and manga related content along with a bunch of other stuff. Also, the Discord link to our server is in the description below. Please join it for more anime, manga and movie discussions. With that being said, let's begin the video. Now once again, the full content of this interview along with the joint interview is going to be published on 9 June. But in the meantime, we have the news that the final volume is going to include 8 additional pages, and something interesting to note here is that this is the maximum amount of pages which can be added in a manga volume. So this is everything that Isayama wanted to add in order to flesh out the story more, because yes, Isayama himself agrees that the ending was kind of rushed. Our speculations here were kind of correct, the ending was definitely rushed. Now here I can't really say if Isayama is talking about all of these things under pressure, but still Isayama kind of admits here that the last part of the manga was a very difficult theme for him and it was kind of beyond his ability. He actually admits that he feels like he has not been able to fully express these themes with the manga, and so he actually regrets it. Now this is kind of typical for the Japanese mentality of people being humble and not bragging about their products, but despite all of those concerns, I still feel like Isayama is kind of disappointed in himself as well, because he had constructed this huge story of a masterpiece and he had actually incorporated a lot of different themes in the story which were totally beyond your typical shonen adventure. One of those themes in my opinion was the philosophy of brainwashing. I've already made a couple of different videos talking about these things, so you can check them out here. But towards the very end of the manga, I think that these couple of themes were kind of omitted and they were not really resolved whatsoever. This is once again a situation similar to the Chekhov's gun, where some plot points are just brought about and never given any resolution. I'm not saying that an open book ending is wrong. Isayama has the ability to make this series an open ending. We all kind of expected that this story was probably going to have some sort of an open-ended ending. That is totally fine by me, but just there were certain elements of the story which could have been done better, and that is something Isayama admits here, because actually Isayama's original design or original ending is kind of changed here as well. It is revealed here by second that the final page of Isayama's original design had 5 grids which were divided into some very detailed sections, and it was supposed to show 3 people walking towards a tree on the hillside. But after discussing with the editor, however, Isayama actually changed that draft. And according to Isayama, another thing which he actually regrets is the decisions or the wording for Armin given in the final chapter. Now I do agree that a lot of confusion mostly arises from the fan translations in English. A lot of us initially read the horrendous fan translation which read something like, "Thank you Eren for being a mass murderer for us," and we were obviously really taken aback by this particular sentence. But even the official translation is not really that better in this particular context, and Isayama thinks that this is due to his lack of writing. He wanted to add more here, but he was probably not able to properly convey Armin's final thought process and what he truly thinks about the events that were transcribed by Eren here. Now seeing these things, I'm pretty sure that the fandom is going to arise into another discussion wave that XYZ thing was bad or XYZ thing was good. It's fine, you people can have all your opinions, I can also have my opinions, but please, I request you all from the bottom of my heart, please do not abuse Isayama, please do not shed any hatred for Isayama. It's fine to criticize something, but please do criticize without giving any abuses whatsoever. I love Attack on Titan. I fell in love with this series last year itself. I'm not technically an OG, a lifelong fan of the series. I only watched it last year during the lockdown, but immediately I fell in love with the series, and I want to thank Isayama from the very bottom of my heart for giving us this wonderful series called Attack on Titan. And even though the ending is kind of bland for me, but still I really enjoyed this series as a whole, and as such I really love talking about it as well. Now with that being said, this is also going to give some major speculations and major theories for the anime adaptation of Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2, where a lot of people are apparently thinking that the anime is actually going to have an anime original ending. That is wrong, that is not just going to take place. But here, in spite of all of these things, I think that there's a very high chance that Isayama is actually going to work with MAPPA and maybe try to improve certain scenes. I think that the final leader for Eren and his true character reveal was not really well handled. I think that if there were more scenes dedicated to this particular side of Eren, it would have been much better in my opinion. And I know that people are probably going to say in the comments that, oh, this is the true side of Eren, I'm not able to recognize these things. I acknowledge that, I totally understand where you're coming from, but at the same time I can also give you the counter argument that Eren's speech in chapter 139 directly contradicts almost all the things that he has said in the past. So for all of these things, I think that the anime can add some minor changes in the translations of the words which are spoken by the characters here, especially for the scenes which happen around chapter 130-131. So maybe there's a very high chance that Isayama is actually going to work with the studio here. Now this is something which a lot of the other mangakas have also done in the past. This is not something new, and as such I would truly love to see Isayama fulfilling his final vision of the story in the form of the anime itself. We are kind of having high expectations from MAPPA here, and let's just hope that things actually turn out well. Moreover, I'm also excited for those additional 8 pages to see how the story finally eventually wraps up, and I'm very excited for all of these things. Now other than all of this, there are more stuff which are being talked about here in this particular interview. Of course this is just a snippet, this is not the entire interview, but still Zekan reveals here about which chapters Isayama actually enjoyed to draw. According to Isayama, he really enjoyed making chapter 69 and chapter 71, which were not following the main plot as such, and they were kind of focused upon Kenny and Levi. So I totally understand where all of these things are coming from. So these were mostly all of the things which were discussed in this quote-unquote leaked interview about Isayama. The entire thing is coming out with a volume release, so stay tuned for that as well. So in the meantime, this is it for today guys. Thank you so much for watching. What do you guys think about all of these things? Please do mention your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more. And finally, please do join the channel membership for some very cool perks and features. With that being said, this is Wonder WhyZ, and I'll see you soon in the next video.